Friends, welcome back to Makeup Looks Based on Books. So, I know I've been doing a lot of these lately, and I promise I don't just sit around all day and read books. Honestly, a lot of the books I read, or that I talk about, are books that I've known and read for years. Some of them are recent reads, but a lot of them, like the one I'm talking about today, are books I've known about years and just love. The book that I'll be talking about today is Pride and Prescience by, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, but Pride and Prescience by Carrie Bebris. And I Own Nothing, all rights belong to her. And this is a book, it was written in 2004, and it actually got on a list of the 5 best mysteries that year. And I absolutely agree with this. So I know that I told you guys that I love mysteries and true crime and all that good stuff. I'm also kind of a sucker for Jane Austen fan fictions. And this one I think is there's actually 7 books in this series, but I'm just going to talk about the first one for now. Is a like it's a fantastic They are fantastic books. And I did my makeup based on, it starts with Lizzie and Darcy, and Jane and Bingley have just gotten married. And I did okay, so hold on, back up. So I actually did a little tiny bit of research. I kind of want to do a little more research because this is also something that I'm kind of interested in. Makeup in like different eras, all that good stuff. And they did have makeup back in Jane Austen time. Actually, makeup dates back to like 6000 BC with the Egyptians. But in Jane Austen's time, the only people who wore like heavy makeup were women of ill repute, basically. So your normal or regular women probably weren't going to wear makeup on a regular day. But I feel like for a wedding day, they might want to be a little bit more fancy. It's their wedding day. And again, I feel like Lizzie's not really going to care about what she looks like. I've also noticed I like reading books about women who don't really care what they look like. Actually, really, that is not even a factor in why I like the books. It's just been a theme I've noticed lately as I've talked about these books. But so I thought but anyway, women back then, they went for a real natural look. Like they would take powder and like white powder and mix it with things they just had in their pantry to like match their skin tone. And they'd like crush, I think it was flowers. I did a little, when I say did a little tiny bit of research on this. I Googled it, but I wanted to do more research. So based on what I Googled, and they would crush like flowers and use it to add blush. And then they would use that same blush to add a little bit of color to their lips with like a gloss. And obviously I used modern day products because I don't have any of that. I have modern day products, but I tried to do a more natural look. And honestly, this is more like what I would do on a normal basis, like if I wasn't trying to do my makeup based on something. But this is more like, I like the natural look. I just like makeup. I like having fun with makeup. But honestly, this is more of like a normal everyday look that I would go with. Maybe a little bit more of a lipstick, just because I love my lipsticks. But anyway, so this is kind of how I feel like they would do their makeup on their wedding day. Add a little bit of color to their cheeks and the lips, blushing bride, all that good stuff. Anyway, back to the book. So Lizzie and Darcy and Jane and Bingley have just had their double ceremony. They're married, all that good stuff. And well, on the same day, Caroline Bingley announces that she is engaged. She's found this American who has come over, not for her specifically, but he has come to England, and she found him, and they've gotten engaged, and they're getting married next Wednesday. And Lizzie and Darcy were looking forward to going to Pemberley, but this kind of puts a wrench in their plans because they can't really they've got to be there for the wedding. Their she's the sister of a good friend of Darcy's and Jane's sister-in-law, so they've kind of got to be there. So they wait around, and they go to London, and they're going to get married in London, and so it was a very quick engagement. But they go to London and spend some time there, see some friends, meet an interesting professor, Professor Randolph, and he does come into play here. And they actually see a museum exhibit that deals with like different, like what is the word I'm looking for? Like objects that supposedly have mystical powers. I think that's what I'm looking for. There is a little bit of it. There is an element of the supernatural that have supernatural powers. There is an element of supernatural in these books. It's very well done, though. And they kind of talk about how Lizzie thinks that maybe there might be a little bit of something to him. Like she's not a super strong believer, but maybe there's a little bit more to things than meets the eye. Darcy is very firmly against no. There is just what meets the eye. He does not believe in supernatural. But they meet Professor Randolph at a business, or not a business, at a dinner party that one of Darcy's friends invites them to. And it turns out that he studies these artifacts. And so Lizzie is intrigued. So anyway, Caroline and Mr. Parrish get married. But that after anyway, so they get married, and then the night that they get married, Lizzie and Darcy are going home, and all of a sudden they notice that they're in kind of a seedy part of town and driving through, and Lizzie notices that a woman out there, and she's got a reticule attached to her, and she's like, isn't that Caroline Parrish? And it is. Or Caroline. Anyway, sorry. I think they pronounced it Caroline. I forget. It's been a while since I've seen the movies. And Darcy's like, it is. And somebody's tries to rob her. So Darcy jumps out, and they get her in, and gets her away, and they get her in. She seems kind of confused. And so they take her home, and it like takes her a little bit to like recognize who they are. And she wasn't like and like while she was in the process of trying to get robbed, it didn't seem like she didn't realize she was in any danger. And so they get her home and back to her husband and all that good stuff. But weird things keep happening to her. Like, you'll have to read to find out what else happens to her and what happens. But weird things keep happening. And there is more than this. There is more to her husband than actually meets the eye. What is going on? How do these things keep happening? And will Lizzie and Darcy ever get to Pembrey? But they like, this is a really, really good book. Like, honestly, like I said, it came out in 2004. I think which was like 21 years ago. This makes me feel old, guys. I was a young teenager, but I was a teenager in 2004. But I found it probably a few years later, or a few years later. I think I found it in a library first, and I have read all 7 of the books. Multiple times. I absolutely love them. Like, they are so good. So if you like a Regency era book with some mystery, a little bit of supernatural thrown in, these are absolutely the books for you. You guys should check them out. Because honestly, they are so good. I can't recommend them enough. I don't remember what else I was going to say. I think that's all I have for today. So I will see you tomorrow. As always, if you guys have any great or even good, decent recommendations for books for me, please let me know down below. I always love recommendations. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. Keep reading, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.